Is it possible to get max level without leaving the spawn area? I'm gonna try it. My strategy is to kill 45,961,288 lamb balls. Not really, I just made that number up, but it's probably something like that to get max level, and that will take the rest of my life to complete. So I am going to go with breeding. This isn't as easy as it sounds. There are two very important components with breeding, and that is the cake and the egg incubator. Let's start with the easy one. The egg incubator requires 2 ancient parts to make, and you need 1 ancient point to unlock it. There is 2 different strats here. One is to go to the only dungeon in the starter area, which is down at the beach behind where you spawn. Kill the boss for ancient parts and loot the chest at the end for ancient point books. This has some RNG to it. You aren't guaranteed to get the books, so I'm gonna go with another strat. And that is burning Memorist with a campfire. Memorist is the only alpha boss in the starter area, and by killing it you are guaranteed both the ancient points and the parts. Now to the hard part, getting cake. Getting the ingredients for cake are mostly simple. Most of them we can buy from the visiting merchant, except for honey. Honey we can get from bee guards, and bee guards we can get from verdant eggs. There are a few eggs that we can loot around the starter area. I have a route that gives me 5 eggs, and if one of them is not a verdant egg, then I just make a new account. Not sure if an update ruined the egg spawns, but most of them don't spawn anymore, like the one that should be here. If we get a verdant egg, we still need to get lucky. There are 11 different pals you can get from the normal verdant egg, so let's pray to the RNG gods. We only get flopies and cinnamons. After a few fails, I started getting worried that maybe you can't get bee guards from these eggs. And I was right. I looked it up. Flopies and cinnamons are the only pals you can get from the starter area verdant eggs. I haven't looted eggs since the game came out, so I forgot that egg loot is area specific. Now what? I did some more research. I found out that cinnamons guarantees 1 honey drop. By using the meat cleaver, we can kill the pal and get the honey. But we need 2 honeys. So now I don't just have to get lucky with finding 1 verdant egg, but I need 2 of them, and they both have to be cinnamons. Waiting for the eggs to respawn will take 3 hours, so I'll make a new account until I get lucky. You can actually tell what pal is in the verdant egg. Flopies are in the common verdant eggs, and cinnamons in the uncommon ones. After making hundreds of accounts, this happens. The first 2 eggs we find are verdant eggs. Unfortunately, one of them is a flopie. So we check the next 2 eggs. These are not what we need. It's all down to the 5th egg. It's a verdant egg, but is it a cinnamoth? Yes, it is. Finally. You can see how happy I got. I probably spent close to 20 hours just figuring out strats and looking for verdant eggs. But we finally get it. Now we have to kill Memorist, get the cleaver, and then get the honey. "20 hours just to get some honey. We can finally play the game. First part of the challenge is done. Now I'm going to change some settings to save some time. I'm going to put egg incubation time to 0, then the amount of bases and work pals to max. We have to get to level 19 to unlock the breeding farm. There are 20 pals we can catch in the starter area, 12 daytime pals, 5 nighttime pals, and 3 pals that can be found in the dungeons. There is also some pals from eggs and some that can be a dungeon boss, but I'm not going to bother with that. We can only make 1 cake right now, so it's important that we use that to get bee guard. You can get bee guard by breeding hook rates and tombats. If you're wondering what I consider the starting area, this is it. I'm not allowed to go down that way. I can't go past this building. And I can't jump that gap. So basically from here and around the island. Now let's catch some pals and level up our base. Level 19, we can unlock the breeding farm. Let's build the breeding farm, cooking pot, and the mill. Let's sell some stuff and then buy everything we need for the first cake. Obviously, we can't keep buying the ingredients for the cake, so we need an easier way to get them. Milk we can get from mozzarinas, so that's the next pal we're breeding for. Eggs are not a problem. Wheat seeds we can get as drops from pals, and one pal that drops them is Dinosom. Bee Guard was born. Let's put it in the ranch, and now we don't have to worry about honey anymore. I am going to catch the dinosaurs, so I can butcher it and get extra chance of getting the wheat seeds. I get 2 wheat seeds from this one, and I had one earlier from the floppy, so I can build my first wheat farm. I buy milk one last time and then start breeding for a mozzarina. You can get mozzarina from breeding fox sparks and nightwing. Should probably start building more bases. There aren't many good places to build a base in the star area, but we do have an area down at the beach. If you want to know the best way to get down there, this is how. Just slide down here and then catch the wall.
Parkour!
This base is going to be used for wheat and berry farms. Now let's work on some more upgrades. By combining fox sparks and egg tier deer, we can get a vixen. Not really a huge upgrade, only level 2 kindling, but it does have some handiwork also. By breeding Gummoss with Tombat and Pangolin with Dinosom, we can get a Verdash and a Gobfin. I'm going to need a lot of Verdashes for food farming, and the Gobfin is just a small upgrade for now. I thought about getting the PAL Research Laboratory, but most of the upgrades need ancient PAL manuscripts. Can only get them from expeditions, but I can't do any of them because I can't fight any tower bosses. After a few more upgrades, I still felt like everything was really slow, so I decided to go for the Yormantides. First we breed a Nightwing with an 8 tier deer to get Dogen. Then we use that Dogen with a Tombat to get Blaze Howl. We need Blaze Howl to get Yormantide Ignis, but first we need the normal Yormantide. We get a Rayhound, Incineram, Vanworm, and an Anubis. I can breed Incineram with a Nightwing to get Gildane, and Anubis with a Vanworm to get Falaris. Now breeding Gildane with Falaris will give me a Musanda, and that Musanda we can use with the Rayhound to get Grisbolt. Now we just have to breed Grisbolt with a Nightwing, and then we can get the Yormantides. Nightwing really is the MVP of this challenge. Let's build a third base. This is for breeding only. We are going to need a lot of fiber for the breeding farms. Yormantide eggs are done, so let's get them and then breed for Yormantide Ignis. We now have the best kindling and watering pal. This will help a lot. Breeding farms are done, and the first thing we are going to do is breed for Mozzarinas and bee guards. After getting 12 bee guards and Mozzarinas, we don't really have any more specific pals to get, so I'm just going to breed everything that's possible to breed. There are still some pals that I can't catch, so I'm not going to waste any cake on them. Now let's mine some ore and then upgrade the base. This is the last base level. I'm not going to bother with building the assembly lines. Before we start mass breeding, I'm just going to get some bristlers and floppies. These are going to be butchered for more wheat seeds. And then I'm going to make a fourth base. This one is for ranches to get more cake ingredients. Now let's breed everything. Level 49, we can now build a large scale oven. Making cakes is going to be even faster now. Breeding is getting faster and faster as we now have a lot of pals with the philanthropist passive skills. But we stumbled upon another problem, and that is the space in the pal box. I have a few options here. I can butcher pals, I can drop them, or try to build the dimensional pal storage. We need 2 ancient technology points for that, and I tried to do some dungeons while I was breeding, and I just couldn't get any ancient books. So I'm going to give up on that. While I was breeding, I also built a 5th base for even more berries, because I kept running out of them. But we have a lot of berries now, so I'm gonna turn this into a ranch base. I'm gonna build the stone oven and then turn the main base into more breeding farms. Now let's grind out the last few levels. I decided just to drop the pals I didn't need. We can't sell them and it's way faster than butchering. At level 54 we can unlock the PAL disassembly conveyor. It is possible to make if we butcher certain pals, but it's very time consuming to get the materials, so I'm just gonna stick to dropping pals. One more pal. And there it is. Level 60 without leaving the starter area. I almost ran out of pals to get. I have gotten 12 of almost all the 169 pals I got. And I'm only missing one pal to take me to 170 different pals. There is a total of 187 pals, but the remaining 17 pals I just couldn't get. Those include the 5 legend, 4 raid bosses, 3 meteor pals, a Mimog, a Bastigor, Blazemut, and the Suzakus. To get these, you either need a legend to breed with, or the pal only breeds with its own kind. Suzakus are possible to get, but you need to get lucky with the home base raid, where some Suzaku Aquas will come. That just didn't happen while I did this challenge, so I'm not going to wait for that. This video took me about 80 hours to make, so I would appreciate a like if you're still watching. Another stupid challenge completed. If you have any challenges you want me to do, just comment that under this video and I might try it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.